Listen to me. You violated the ordinance, and now you owe the town $3,000. We're done talking.
No, we're not done. I don't
No,
owe
Louis.
the town $3,000.
Come on. Louis. We're done. It's over. I don't care. We're done.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. You cannot talk
Okay. From now on, no matter what you say, I'm going to respond with the phrase Clams Casino.
Brad,
Clams Casino.
I can get my lawyers in here in 2 seconds if you want.
Clams Casino.
I owe the town $3,000.
Clams
You're crazy,
Casino.
Brad, you're crazy.
Son of a bitch hung up on me. What can I do for you guys?
Hi, Mr. Campbell. I'm Ed Stevens. I'm Lisa Barnes' attorney. This is Frankie. Hector, my associate. We were wondering if we could talk to you about your contract with Lisa Barnes.
Is she contesting the terms? Because if she's contesting the terms, we can go right to arbitration.
No, Lisa just wanted to make absolutely sure that you're serious about this.
Serious? No. I drew up that brilliantly structured, legally binding, 150-page contract just for giggles, because I'm a silly clown man.
Mr. Campbell, why are you doing this? You don't need to do this. You're successful, good-looking.
Please, more patronizing.
What we're saying is we're sure you could find someone that actually wants to marry.
My physical beauty intimidates women. They're afraid to approach me.
Seems to me if you really cared about Lisa, you wouldn't be doing this.
You can't force her to love you. If it's meant to be, it'll just be.
Then it'll be. Because the legally binding contract we both wrote and signed declares that it's meant to
Now,
be.
look, Mr. Campbell, really think you should...
Clams Casino.
If you could just listen to what we...
Clams Casino.
Well, Frankie, let's go.
Give my love to Lisa.
Unusual case.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a ridiculous case.
I'm sticking with unusual.
I have your notes here, Mr. Stevens.
Thank you, Miss Hector. Mr. Walsh, Mr. Campbell, let's all do ourselves a favor and put this thing behind us today. Because all this contract does is set the stage for a long, complicated legal battle, and in the end, the results will be the same. My client will not be forced to marry against her will. This case is simply not worth pursuing for you.
Oh, contraire.
My client thinks it is worth pursuing, and that's all that matters. Now, are you willing to talk compromises here, or shall we see each other in arbitration?
Fine, Walsh, what do you got?
Well, my client is willing to allow a minimum of one child as opposed to the two stipulated in the contract.
That's a compromise?
Yeah, it's a compromise. We'll forget about little Barbara.
Who's little Barbara?
The daughter we're apparently never gonna have.
You're already naming our kids?
Yeah, after your lovely grandma, no less.
That's particularly nice coming from you.
Okay, look, we're not going to get anywhere here today trying to negotiate children, all right, or living situations, or who's going to do what chores around the house. My client does not want to marry Mr. Campbell, and there's no court, there's no arbitrator that's going to make her.
But the penalty clause certainly will be enforced.
Well, Mr. Walsh, there's a case in Arkansas in 1997 involved shared burial plots. Now, in these
I've
shared...
got the file right here, Mr. Stevens.
Oh, thank you, Miss Hector. Will you hang on to that for a moment?
Yes, Mr. Stevens?
Everything all right?
Yes, Mr. Stevens.
Excuse us for a moment. I need to speak with my associate. Miss Hector, if you please.
Well, in my 20 years of arbitration, I can safely say I've never seen a case quite like this.
And I'm sure there's a very good reason for that.
Exactly.
Mr. Walsh, let's start with you.
Okay, simple. This is a contract. It was not only signed by them, it was also written by them. Two consenting, fully informed adults. My client wants it enforced.
You don't want to marry him,
I really don't.
but you want her to marry you, even though she doesn't want him.
Yes.
How come?
You may not be able to see this at first glance, but I happen to be very lovable. And if she would live up to her end of the bargain, she'd eventually love me. And we'd end up telling this whole silly tale to our grandkids over pasta primavera at the Olive Garden.
Was that you being lovable?
Yes, it was.
But she won't marry you, so you want to enforce the penalty clause. $100,000. Mr. Stevens.
Lisa, why did you enter into this contract?
Because I was out of my bloomin' gourd.
And because you found me lovable.
Keyword, found.
That'll come back, baby. Trust me.
May I?
Continue, Mr. Stevens.
Thank you. Lisa entered into this contract for the exact same reason that Brad did. They wanted to take all the risk out of love and relationships. They wanted to guarantee with a 150-page legal document that things would all work out. Well, it doesn't work that way. When it comes to affairs of the heart, rules don't work.
What about a prenuptial agreement?
Sure, to divide things on the way out, not on the way in.
Well, this is my decision. Obviously, Miss Barnes can't be forced to marry someone. That's simply not done in this country. Which leaves us with a fairly cut-and-dried breach of contract case. Because of the precision with which this agreement was crafted, I do believe that Mr. Campbell is due compensation. However, $100,000 seems excessive to me. Therefore, I'm ruling that Miss Barnes pay Mr. Campbell the amount of $500. Just enough to cover a few dates with a prospective new bride.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
This will be the best money I've ever spent.
Want to grab a cup of coffee?
I really don't.